Welcome to the Small Business Breakthrough Series, where each week we interview guests that support the small business industry. They're small businesses themselves, and they bring a unique, different approach. Each guest coming in with all sorts of abilities to support your small business as the listener out there. Today, we bring in a special guest who is a multicultural marketing agency. And I want to welcome Hernan Tagliani, who's the president of the group advertising and also a best-selling author who has books that are out internationally at bookstores. So welcome to the show, Hernan.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you for having me over today.
Can you give us a quick introduction as to what your business is and how you win for your clients?
Yeah, so we have been in business for 18 years. We are a national full service multicultural advertising and digital agency. And basically, what we do, we help brands and businesses in how to, first of all, growth their business, and also taking into consideration as mainstream is becoming multicultural. We're growing into what we call a huge growth from millennials and Gen Zs. It's how they can utilize that growth and increase market share, and increase sales. As I said before, it's very diverse. We're becoming a multicultural nation. So we help them in all aspects, from researching. We do quantitative market research, helping find where is the business opportunity for them, then craft the right culturally relevant strategy and execute marketing campaigns effectively and efficiently with culturally relevant strategies and messages that truly appeal to the cultural nuances of multicultural consumers.
That is such an interesting niche that you have gone down. What was the inspiration that you had when you decided to go into this 18 years ago?
Well, my career has been in advertising. I have been working in advertising for over 33 years. I am originally from Argentina. I moved to the United States 23 years ago. I worked for different advertising agencies, and for being bilingual, I was seen more at the Hispanic token. So in 2006 is when I decided to branch out, because I was realizing that, US was becoming very diverse, especially driven by US Hispanic growth. And that's how I opened my agency. Started with one client from my house, and then the rest is history. So we have the honor to work with different brands nationwide and regionally in helping grow the business by utilizing the growth of multicultural consumers, in particular US Hispanic market.
That is such a powerful thing and such a way to be able to see the future from back in 2006 and what was coming. And it is so important, listeners out there, as you're listening, to be able to hit the topics around multicultural, because every culture, even if we just think about in the US or neighboring countries right close to us, everybody has a different way to view it. And to have an agency that can help you speak that way is so important. You've had a very successful business. Obviously, 18 years is way past the 10-year mark of 70% of businesses fail in 10 years. What would you say is the key to your success to be able to have made it for 18 years in business?
Well, definitely to be successful in business, you have to have a passion for it. You have to be determined, and you have to be very disciplined. But most important of all, the success of your business relies on the strong relationship that you build with your clients. Every relationship I develop with my clients, I always see it more on a long-term partnership more than a business transaction, which there are a lot of companies out there. For us is how we can organically grow the business with our clients, how we can gain the trust, how can we be part of their success. And that's what has been keeping us in business, and get a referral from them is another strong source of business for us. So we have clients like one of them, for example, we do business for 16 years as their advertising agency. So it's a different type of relationship at this point. Is more on a trust base. But that will be my advice. Relationship with the client, building that trust is crucial. Always thinking on the long term, how you can grow that relationship and take it to the next level.
That is so important. I talk about that so much in my content as how to serve the customer, how to think about the big picture. And so for those listeners out there who are going through and building your businesses, you have an industry expert that has been doing this for 18 years. Listen to that. It I don't think that, I want to really stress it. And the reason is because, as I mentioned, 70% of small businesses fail by the 10-year mark. So to have one that has made it even further is just amazing. Hernan, it's so interesting to have somebody that is so focused on customer experience and the passions of it. How would you say that you have helped develop your customer experience into a successful one over the other anybody else that might be looking at doing customer experience?
Well, this is something I always address to my team. It is important to listen to the client, listen what their needs are, what the struggles, the challenges that they're going through, and not just immediately jump the gun and offering, okay, this is what I can do for you, selling. Is we gotta nurture that relationship. We gotta understand the problems that they're going through, the challenges that they're going through, and then walk them slowly in how we can potentially help them by bringing our solutions. So in a nutshell, let them sell themselves about the opportunity they have in front of them by doing business with you. What I have seen in the industry many times is salespeople, they immediately want to sell the products and sell the services. They are not listening to the client. They do 80% of the talk when actually you had to do 20% of the talk. And clients, they get that right away. So is he here to sell me something? He's here for the long term and grow my business and be part of my success. And I think that at the end of the day is what make a big difference. That's why I stress a lot to my team, always ask questions, make sure there's no any misunderstanding or miscommunication, make sure that we address any feedback or comment from the client, and always ask, how can we improve? How we can do this better? Are we fulfilling your needs? Are you happy with us? So that's very important in building the relationship with clients and the experience, because through that is when the referrals start coming. And it's great when you see a client referring you to another of their people within their network. Most likely you ended up doing business with that person. So that's a key. Relationship first, business second. That's how I see it.
That is so powerful. Listeners out there, so relationship first, business second. Always be taking care of your client. Let's be real. You didn't start your business to feel stuck, overwhelmed, or bored out of your mind. But yet, here you are, spinning, stalled, or just chasing every shiny object just to stay motivated. And I know exactly how you feel, because I used to do the same thing. But that's why I built the Momentum community for founders like you. It's for people who are ready to get serious, simplify, and build a business that actually moves forward. It uses peer accountability, and it's what I used to be able to grow my business successfully and have a great exit. Does this sound like something you need? Click the link in the description below and let's have a conversation. Enjoy the rest of the show. You've been doing this a long time and you've done a lot of projects. Maybe what's the most recent project that has really energized you and maybe reinvigorated you into why, your why behind what you're doing with your business?
Yeah, so well, recently we work with a very well-known brand that they create life-saving medicines through a plasma donation. that has been a very exciting experience working with that client, especially for the impact that we are generating by somebody coming, donating plasma and saving people's lives. So that in the top of my mind right now, top of my head, what I'm thinking that it really was very impactful for me and my team because we're feeling we're contributing back, we're giving back to the community by helping improve lifestyles of people in need through these life-saving medicines. So with them, yes, we did a lot of work from traditional to no traditional advertising here in the U.S., in the Mexico border, and in Puerto Rico.
Wow, that is very powerful to be able to help and get, it gets inside of that philanthropic side of the passion that we all want to do. We all love to help people in that type where you're helping save lives is even more um, beneficial. Looking ahead to you've had you said 30 plus years of experience in marketing, and what's the next 5 years look like, and what changes do you see coming, and how are you approaching those changes with your business?
Well, first, as I said before, we're shifting into a multicultural mainstream. And why I'm saying that? Because at the present time, 44% of consumers in this nation are multicultural. And by 2028, that number will increase to 47%. Now, who is driving that growth? There are two generations that are driving that growth. Number one is millennials, and number two is Gen Zs. When you take a look of millennials, a little over 43% is multicultural. And out of that 43%, 25% is US Hispanic. When you take a look of Gen Z, more than 50% of Gen Zs are multicultural and 27% Hispanic. So in a nutshell, is that useful diversity is becoming the counterweight of white aging consumers that, according to the census, by 2045, Caucasian consumers become minorities. So as a brand and as a business, where the growth is going to come? Well, definitely from those two generations that they are fully multicultural. They are very diverse. So for any brand out there, how you're going to grow your business in the next 5 to 10 years is by appealing and engaging to this growing and influential audience. That's why in my book that became best-selling author, Multicultural Mainstream, The Power of Hispanics in Consumer Marketing, available on Amazon and other bookstores in Europe, I talk about how we're shifting, how US is shifting. It's going through the cultural and society change. We're dealing with a consumer evolution. So we're shifting from the transactional marketing to the brand experiential, right? Now more than ever with Gen Zs and millennials, they care less about owning material things. It's how you make them feel as a brand. So it's a different dialogue that they are requesting and asking from brands. So one is that aspect and how that customer experience translate into basically all your different touch points from your marketing, from having a mobile friendly, relevant, and bilingual website to the customer experience at time of purchase, and making sure you have people that represent these audiences, represents the diverse, how US is becoming. And then afterwards, after the purchase is done, how you continue that communication, how you keep that consumer engaged with your brand. That's number one. And number two, well, nowadays with technology, AI, so it's changing the dynamics. AI is the future. You know, I use AI in my business. A lot of my clients, they use AI. It's very fascinating. Of course, it's efficient on utilizing it in a way of you are able to dedicate your time, if you know how to use it to perform certain tasks, then you can use your time more effectively on other areas to grow your business. But yeah, AI is transforming everything and is propelling this even to the next level. You know, sociologists believe that technology created a demand of cultural connectivity and now propelled by AI, definitely is a big deal and a big change. I just came from a conference in Atlanta, and we had some really great guest speakers there talking about AI and how it's changing everything and how's making certain jobs better. I don't think it's going to replace people. I think that people will have to get used to using AI to their advantage.
Yeah, it's so important. Listeners out there, as you're listening to this when it comes out, AI, and if you've listened to any of the past podcasts, this question I ask in very frequently in my podcast, and AI is always in 100% of them, AI comes up. And so if you're not using AI in some way, shape, or form in your business, or the companies you're working with, such as Hernan's company, they're not using AI, then you're playing in the early days and you need to update that. And I say that, I stress that just because it's simply look at it back from when the computer came out. It's just an update. It's the next type of computer that we're working with inside of how this goes. So even when early cell phones came out, and then all of a sudden we had smartphones, then into this advanced, artificial intelligence that is coming out and continuing to develop, you've got to start paying attention. It's been out for more than 2 years at this point in mainstream, and it has got to be part of your thought processes as you go through it. Hernan, it has been so fantastic to get to learn more about how the marketing is changing and how to approach the different change in cultural dynamics across the United States and whatnot. It's amazing to have best-selling authors on the podcast, and I'll definitely be linking your book in the show notes as we go through. But how about we jump into a little bit of a lightning round and learn a little bit more about you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, the questions aren't too hard. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Uh, what is a favorite quote or phrase that you think about often?
A favorite quote, success is on the other side of fear.
Ooh, powerful one, powerful one. How about a favorite movie or streaming series that you love?
Gladiator, my favorite movie.
Ah, yes, that is a great movie to go. If you could grab only one weapon or item during a zombie apocalypse, what would it be?
A book.
Very good. What is one book that has influenced your life the most?
Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill.
Ah, classic, absolute classic. And what is the biggest obstacle you've been in business for 18 years. What is the biggest obstacle that you've ever had to overcome and one lesson you've learned from it?
Fear. Remember this. Worry is prayer for what you don't want. Fear is a false evidence appearing real. And worry, fear, and doubts are just a state of mind.
That, wow, that we're gonna have to sit with that one. Rewind that and listen to it again if you missed it. Worry, fear, and doubts is just a state of mind. Super powerful. Hernan, if people want to work or get learn more about your agency or work with you, what is the best way they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, definitely. I invite them to visit my website is www.dgroupads.com. The phone number of the agency is 407-898-2409. And they can reach me via email at Hernan, Hernan, at dgroupads.com. That will be TheGroupads.com.
Excellent. We'll have all of that information located in the show notes and on in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. And we'll also have a link to Hernan's best-selling book if you want to learn more about the multicultural change in mainstream today. And I encourage you to start the research. It sounds like it's a great book. I'm going to be ordering mine later today after the recording of this podcast to be able to support Hernan in the case. It has been great to have you on the podcast today, Hernan. And For the listeners out there, until next time.